Universe Motherboard, and I am so excited to be shepherding this amazing group of authors through this group storytelling exercise tonight. Broad Universe is an organization that was originally founded to champion the voices of women in speculative fiction. A few years ago, we decided that we had done such a good job of that, we needed to broaden the scope of what we do and not be just a bunch of broads anymore. And so now our mission statement is, in fact, to support and uplift the voices of persons of marginalized genders across speculative fiction. So that is who we are. We are writers, we are editors, we are publishing professionals, we are content creators, we are storytellers, we are entertainers, and we are so excited to be sharing our stories with you. The way a rapid fire reading works is exactly like what it sounds like. We're gonna have a timer, we're gonna have a reader, we're going to say on your mark, get set, go, and you're going to get somewhere between 5 and 7 minutes of their most entertaining thing that they want to offer you tonight. Please feel free to laugh, to clap, to applaud, to give the author your full attention and your full energy that they are putting out into the world to you. Please understand that our panel is being recorded, so anything you say can and will be used against you on social media in the future. So if you don't want to be seen or heard, just know that this camera is live. It is recording video and audio. And by sitting in this room and keeping your eyes up here, you are implying consent to being included on that video, provided you don't like duck when you go, basically in that direction. I am going to ask everyone in here if you've got a device in your pocket that chimes, tweeters, beeps, anything that's like a Star Trek communicator or Dick Tracy's little watch like I've got here on, if we could please silence that. If you need to keep it on vibrate because you have a real reason for that, I'm going to trust you all to be adults. If you could pretty please make it to where those noises are not going to interrupt our group of folks up here at the front. I will be introducing our authors as they are getting ready to read, and we're going to pause a couple of times tonight because we also have free stuff. As though just coming here to enjoy this time with us is not enough, you may very well be able to walk away with a free book or books or cool tote bag or prize package courtesy of our authors. We'll talk a little bit more about that when the time comes, but it is time now to get started with our first reader. First up tonight is going to be Valerie Frankel. She is the author of, this says 90, but I know it's more like 100, published books from, I believe, 6 or 7 different publishers, plus she is self-published. This woman literally does it all. She writes books about Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who, superheroes, pop culture, heroine's journey, villain's journey, and also fiction of her own. You can find her at vefrankel.com. Friends and fans, please give a round of applause to Valerie Frankel.
Wow, thanks.
Hooray.
All right, I always read from an Unexpected Parody, a parody of the first Hobbit movie, the first live-action Hobbit movie, because this is just a crowd pleaser. Prologue the first, Fandom Rising. It began with the writing of the Great Book. In the beginning, the dawn of time, round about 1936. The great creator set about to make a marvelous work that would last throughout all the generations. And lo, he wrote a children's novel, and it was beloved. 20 years passed, and the seeds of his planting grew into a mighty trilogy. 3 books were given unto the fans, with many appendices to boot, and from them sprang a mighty genre. Bookstore shelves sagged with the weight of the many fantasy series, and brave heroes toiled to the end of the earth and beyond, seeking signed first editions. Then the Trekkies came, and lo, their society lasted long and prospered. The great franchises followed on. The might of the Force rose, and begat a cult of followers in hooded robes, and the 2 tribes mingled, and begat a race of Monty Python-quoting, sneaker-wearing folk, who spent their days designing humorous t-shirt slogans. They loathed the fresh air, and hid from the sun in their parents' basements, where the big screen was anyway. United, they built a mighty empire, and named themselves the Geeks. Their realm thrived. The wise among them gathered to meet in cities across the earth and held mighty debates and sometimes swap meets. Many years passed. Decades later, during the second rising of the Force, the boy wizard rose up, marked by a lightning scar, and wise in an odd tongue of Latin, Greek, and the occasional throw-ins of Hawaiian just for the heck of it. He taught his followers to spend their gold freely, and consumerism swelled under his reign. With him came the midnight releases and wide-eyed children, cranky from the late hour, uttered the sacred words, "Have you read my fanfic?" and thus were converted. Their conferences swelled with screaming fangirls, and many other heroes followed, riding dragons and Greek-speaking pegasi and magical polar bears. Mighty temples of glory soared into the heavens, with amusement park rides, lunch boxes, and trading cards. But the doom of men is in their greed, and movie producers have it worst of all. In their dark halls, deep in the heart of Hollywood, they schemed. For, they reasoned, if a trilogy could control the world, how much more might 7 movies, or 8, or 9? 8 films were offered to the boy wizard, and many of his followers lost their way through the tangle and were cast aside. 3 additional films were given to the followers of the Force, and lo, they were a letdown. We saw them. Then another film franchise came, and it was not good, for as the fans protesteth, vampires are not meant to sparkle. Then the power of the Force was given to the King of Mice, and many fans did tremble with sorrow. One by one, the free lands fell into despair. But then a light shined anon from the skinny Isle of New Zealand, and the halflings strode forth in 12 hours of extended edition glory. Yea, even with bonus features and cast interviews, the saga was quoted on every screen, and the seedling of a series long sacred to the geeks but unknown to many others ascended into the gloried halls of pop culture. Elves crowded the Renaissance fairs, and joy was heard throughout the land. But the hearts of men are easily corrupted. Another franchise had grown too powerful, too rich. A further duology was proposed, and deep in the heart of Hollywood, it began to form, but they were all of them deceived. It swelled into a trilogy, and 9 hours were given unto the geeks, to say nothing of the DVD extras. The halfling town in New Zealand was rebuilt, sturdier than before, so the creators might make it a theme park, and the sheep were driven off. And the geeks were divided. Some clutched the new offering as a treasure and vowed to give it all their devotion, even to the buying of the Denny's meals to get the trading cards. And other geeks spoke against the first of the films and complained that rock giants and hedgehogs did not delight them, for they stopped the movie dead. And thus the fandom was sundered. Among the unsatisfied was a smaller tribe called the Nitpickers, and they were the most dismayed, for they reasoned, no great creator had the right to fashion rabbit sledges and elf salads, which were a perversion of the great source of all, and thus the sundered fandom did battle in the land of cyberspace, with the Nitpickers the loudest combatants, for they knew their cause was just. This is a book for all of them.
Just so everyone knows what a pro Valerie is, that came in precisely at 5 minutes.
Oh,
exactly.
wow.